to the Senate, where Senators Josh Hawley and John Cornyn take on a professor from Berkeley. I don't know if you guys know who these guys are. Josh Hawley of Missouri, John Cornyn of Texas. These are Republicans, and Republicans, they're the red ones. That's all you need to know. And there was a hearing. If you're hearing me, there was a hearing, and the hearing said some nonsense about whatnot, and they had a big discussion and hoo-ha, and that was that. So I'd like to play you guys some clips that would explain these very important issues here. So first, Josh Hawley, we'll start with John Cornyn. John Cornyn, senator from Texas, notorious gun grabber, cuck rhino, whatever you want to call him. He had this interaction with a law professor from the Berkeley. For people who don't know Berkeley, Berkeley is an elite institution, and they call it Berserkly because it is berserk. Anywho, this is a law professor. She has a septum in her nose. I don't know what that's about. I feel like let me just say, I am opposed to septums. For those of you who don't know, it's that piercing that a lot of women are getting now where it makes them look like livestock.
And do you think a baby that is delivered alive has value?
Yes.
Do you think that a baby that is not yet born has value?
I believe that a person with a capacity for pregnancy has value. They have intelligence. They have agency. They have
I'm talking
dignity.
about the baby.
And I'm talking about the person with the capacity for pregnancy.
You're not answering the question. I'm asking.
I'm answering a more interesting question to me.
Do you think that a baby that is not yet born, let's say the day before the mother delivers, do you think that baby has value?
I think that the person with the capacity for pregnancy has value, and they should have the ability to control what happens to their lives.
Well, first off, let me just preface this. There's a lady over her shoulder, white woman, with an N95 mask on. So apparently people are still doing that. I don't know. Anywho, the whole time she's rolling her eyes, I do like that when people roll their eyes because it tells you that they are taking you very serious and they're taking the moment very serious. So if they're rolling their eyes, it's a way that lets them, that you're invested in this. You care. You care about what that person's saying, is that when you roll your eyes. I think it's an interesting response. I don't understand the problem with that. I don't understand the problem with it. Can she directly answer a question? No, but she's a lawyer. She's not supposed to. She's teaching these people, she's teaching her students how to lie. This is her job. Is she good at it? I don't know. But she's good at redirecting from what we're talking about. A person with a capacity to give birth. Well, in my experience, those are women. And I don't have a lot of experience giving birth and whatnot, but what I know, and granted, I spent a lot of time in California public schools, so if I'm wrong, correct me. But in my knowledge, it is the female who gives birth. I think in seahorses, the male gives birth, but we are not seahorses. Seahorses do not have septums, per example. And anywho, so she had this back and forth, and it's odd. I think it's odd. I think it's a strange ideology. It's funny when people go, I'm not gonna answer your question. I'm gonna answer a more interesting question to me. If you were in algebra, this is honest to God, this is what I should have done in algebra. Because I was terrible. I crushed it in 8th grade math, and after that, it was just dog shit. And if I'd known that you could just say, I'm going to cross out the questions on the test and put in the math that I understand because that's more interesting to me, I would have crushed it in high school. I probably would have gotten into Berkeley. So anywho, she goes on to discuss this. This conversation continues with Senator Josh Hawley of the state of Missouri, the great state of Missouri. I've never been. Why would I ever go to Missouri? I do hear they have good ribs. So that would be the reason. That's probably the reason to go to Missouri, is for ribs. But anywho, so the conversation continues, and Josh Hawley asks his questions.
Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist
I'm
is
denying that
dangerous.
trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So
pregnant.
you are denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you, or are they also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning?
class. You should join.
I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot just in this exchange.
Absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Yep.
By the way, if you're making Josh Hawley look good, I mean, that's on you. I don't know. I don't hate Josh Hawley. I'm not like, oh, what an idiot. I'm just saying that, like, this dude is like, he's he's a Republican. These are uptight people. The left, should be running circles around him. And yet all he said was, are you talking about women? Well, this line of questioning is transphobic, and 1 in 5 trans people commit suicide. She's rolling her eyes the whole time, by the way. The whole fucking time. Trans people commit suicide for a lot of reasons, none of which have to do with Josh Hawley asking her if she's talking about women. And by the way, I love that when he asked her to give her, to define what this means, she's like, cis women can give birth. Some cis women can't give birth. Some non-binary people can give birth. Trans men can give birth. Ugh. She's giving a definition that requires more explanations. Like, what is a cis woman? How about, like, that's the thing. It's like, I go, hey man, I need help here. How do I charge my battery's dead on my car? How do I fix that? And then you start talking about carburetors and flux capacitors or whatever you're talking about, and I'm going, I just need this information, and you're gonna start talking about the whole fucking engine. This is what not low IQ, whatever IQ it takes to be a college professor so you can bully your underclass freshmen, whatever IQ that is, this is what they do to make up for not really having a lot of content behind what the fuck they're saying. You start throwing in other big words, and it's like, oh, here's my thesaurus. Let me just whip this fucking bitch out. and start working every 3-syllable word I can throw in, I will throw in because I am smarter than you. That's the thing. I don't think she's smarter than Josh Hawley. So, take that what you will. If you think Josh Hawley is an idiot, I don't. But if you were a person, a non-binary or a trans or cis person, and you thought Josh Hawley were an idiot, well, this professor is dumber than him. Because she has nothing to back up what she's saying. It's social science that feeds itself. That's the whole structure of the social sciences, is they go, here's our ideology. We shall come up with this shit that proves it. Quote unquote, proves it. It doesn't prove shit. It's just, how do we know that there's racism? Well, there's disparity in income between white and black people. Well, what about whites and Asians? Well, Asians are different and they don't qualify as minorities. What? Why are you calling us white supremacists then? Well, Asians are adjacent to white supremacy. What? We dropped the bomb on them, too. We dropped 2 motherfucking atomic bombs on the Japanese. And we interned them in camps. You're killing me, Larry. Sorry about that. The point is, this is the logic. It's the logic in which they can say Barack Obama is a black American, therefore he cannot be racist and he has no power. Even if he were the president, he has no power. The guy could press a red button and drop 250 nukes around the world, but he doesn't have power because he's black, although he's half white. But that has nothing to do with anything because he's mostly dark. And he serves our political narratives. This is the logic of the left. I'm drinking gin, guys, all right? Let me catch a breath, have another sip. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're having a sip tonight, why don't you give me a cheers? Cheers. Let's play this. I love the Josh Hawley interaction. Let's just play. We don't play the whole thing. Maybe we'll play the whole thing. We're doing it live, gang. We're fucking doing it live.
Sucks.
Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
I'm going to count that, by the way. Would that be women? Let's see how many seconds it takes for her to answer. 1, 2, 3.
Many women, cis women, have the...
We'll say 2.5 seconds. Let's hope that she was going to turn on her mic, and that's what took her so long to answer this convoluted bullshit. But let's go back to Mr. Hawley here.
Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Would that be women? Anybody who has a fucking brain says yes. That's it. Yes, I'm talking about women. But she can't because she's compromised to her ideology. She is in too deep. She cannot simply say yes. Because trans men are women. If you still have the capacity to give birth, you didn't go all the way. You are not me. I cannot give birth. I still have all my man parts intact, no matter how small they may be, no matter the rumors. I'm tired of the rumors, guys. I am tired of the rumors. No matter what, I cannot give birth. I am a man. I had no control over that. I was born a man. I will die a man. I might die a boy, but I will still be male. I have 2 older brothers. My mom gave birth to 3 to 4 boys. who grew mostly into men. Therefore, I never had any thoughts of, oh, am I a lady? Am I a gal? Even if I were to dress up as a woman, there's no shaking the balls that hang between my legs. I could sit in 1,000 cold pools and watch them shrivel up, but they'd still be there. They would still be there.
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy.
Many cis women have the capacity for pregnancy, like 99% of them. And the ones that don't are outside of childbearing years. It's not that like, oh, 50% of women can give birth and the other 50% of them can't. It's like 99% of them can up until a point.
Cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy.
Women. Trans men are women. You gotta chop that dick off, or sorry, put on it. You gotta put on a new dick, chop the, well, I don't know what the fucking process is, guys. I don't know. I don't want to start sounding like a serial killer here, but the point is, if you want me to remotely consider you a man, as if you were born a woman, you can't just fucking tell me that you're a man. You got to go all in on the surgery. And if you do that, to my knowledge, you cannot give birth. So the trans men she's talking about are people, are women who are essentially cross-dressing. And by the way, I'm not saying that's wrong. It might be wrong. That's between you and your God and whatever the fuck. I don't care. Lane Bryant, I don't care. But you cannot tell me that that is a woman. Just because if I throw on a dress and start calling myself Ivana, I do not automatically become a woman. Like, that is so cheap. If I were to wear blackface, that doesn't make me black. If I started rocking a fucking straw hat and started doing the Chinese eyes, whoa, that's racist. I don't get to become, oh, I'm Asian. No. But if a dude throws on a dress and starts saying, I'm a lady, this law professor goes, she's a lady. This is convoluted bullshit. We shall continue.
As well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women.
Non-binary is these are the same people that go, there's a difference between sex and gender. There's a difference between sex and gender. Okay, we're talking about sex. You're not smarter than anybody in that room, bitch. We're talking about sex. Well, there's a difference between sex and gender. Non-binary is gender. Those are your own that's your own fucking logic. It's your own logic that sex and gender are distinctly different. He's asking you about sex, the reproductive process. Sperm, eggs, ovaries. 9 months in that fucking oven, baby. Babies. She's going, oh, well, non-binaries, boo, boo, well, they don't identify as women, they identify as non-binary. Okay, but if you were to fuck them, ejaculate inside of them, what happens if they miss their non-binary period? Are they still non-binary?
Women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other people.
We can recognize. I roll. God. That is the These people need to be unemployed. They are destroying the world. They are telling people absolute lies constantly without any repercussion. Let's listen to that little tidbit again.
Rights issue.
We can
it's
recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator.
We can recognize that it affects women, but who's the 95%? Like, who's the 99%? This is the point. This is the problem. It's culture. It's fucking moral relativism on crack, where people see one thing and they see another and they see some type of parallel and they go, oh my God, it's all the same. Everything's the same. It doesn't matter. So we can recognize that this affects, pregnancy affects women and non-binary and trans men. We can do that. Who's the majority? Who is the majority of people that are affected by pregnancy? It's not trans men and it's not non-binaries. It's fucking women.
Holly.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of
By the way, let's listen to Holly's question again here, because I think this is a very legitimate question.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
What's the core of this? So you have all these terms. You have women versus trans versus binary, non-binary. It covers everything in the world. Okay, so with that in mind, what are you trying to tell me here? And she's like, well, actually, your questions are transphobic.
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide.
People's the word you're looking for, not persons. Fucking take that fucking septum and fucking wedge it up your fucking nose, you dumbass. This, again, the word's people. Well, persons? Transgender persons? How about transgender people? You're not smart. You sound like a fucking document. Like a legal document.
So I think it's important
because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist.
Denying that trans people exist. Nobody said they don't exist, you dumb bitch.
And pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm denying that trans people exist by asking you if you're talking.
Are you? Well, you just accused him. You just accused him. You're the one who said, you're the one who said that his line of questioning denies the existence of trans people. What is a woman? You're denying the existence of trans women.
About women having pregnancies?
Do you believe?
Are you? I mean, this is amazing. She's the one, you make the accusation. This is women for you.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
Women, ladies, this is how women will argue. They will. Bill Burr did an excellent bit on this, which is if they are in the right, they stay on point. If they're not in the right, they go fucking rogue and they start asking about other shit. They start bringing up stuff that has nothing to do with the conversation. This guy's asking, what are you talking about? People with capacity for giving birth? Do you mean women? And by the way, this line of questioning is transphobic. This is the problem, people. This person is being paid to teach dumbass 19-year-olds about, well, life.
Having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can
So
get
you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you...
So you're denying that trans people exist? I got you. I got you. Oh, Mr. Holly, you're not schooled up on our fucking lingo. Oh my God. This is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Because she's so caught up in this lie, she cannot shake it. She cannot sit there and say, I know what you mean. You know, well, I'm going to tell you what I mean, but I know what you mean, right? If I'm having a discuss, like, this, I hate it when people argue with you and pretend they have no idea what you're saying. They're like, well, actually, this is sort of, and it's like you're just filibustering. You're using a tactic. You're just using a tactic in a way to get out of the discussion because she doesn't want to have the discussion. She asked him if men can give birth. He says no. Well, you're erasing trans people. You're denying they exist. Ah! Is that really the takeaway? Is that the takeaway? Is that what the conclusion you can draw from this? I don't think men can give birth. Well, you're denying that trans people exist. They're women who identify as men. That's what trans person means. And you're just enabling that. And not only are you enabling it, you're lying to everybody. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to the trans person. You're lying to your students, to society, to everybody you fucking come in contact with. You are lying.
You run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you? Or
No, they're not, bitch. No, they're not. We know that. Because this guy's asking you a very simple question, and you, in all your lawyerly knowledge, are coming at him with an ideology. It is an ideology. It is not science. It is not fact. It is not history. It is not proof. There is nothing to it except belief. Faith. You're no better than a Christian. In fact, you're worse because at least they have a fucking book that's been around for a couple thousand years. You guys have fucking sprung up in the last 10, 20. Mormonism is older than you.
are they also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning.
class. You should join.
I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know,
exchange.
absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Yep.
She's so condescending. She's so fucking condescending because their entire ideology is based on you are not as smart as I. I am superior. Everyone else I know who's white, and she's not white, but let's just say we all know the guy. We all know these people. I'm white. I recognize my privilege. Oh, I recognize my privilege, unlike my racist family. Let's be clear. All of this is because she's pissed off at her fucking parents. All of this. Maybe she's just a career whore. Maybe she's just climbing her ladder in life, or social ladder, and this is the means that they do it. But almost all of this is just about being pissed off at your fucking parents because they made you go to church when you were 12. That's all this is. I mean, There's the entire, it's this whole, this is a whole ideology that's based on, I know more than you, so you better get in line. And it works on idiots. It works on the retards. It works on the fucking morons who go, oh, well, I guess I better change my fucking avatar to black because I gotta support Black Lives Matter. These people are flexing their IQ, their status, and simply based on this idea that they know more than you, so you better just sit down and shut the fuck up. Well, guess what, bitch? You don't know shit. You might know how to give a good blowjob. You'll definitely know more than I. Maybe, again, but the septum, the fucking septum just pisses me off. Like, fucking, listen, ladies, if you want to get the septum, whatever. It doesn't make you look good. It does not make you look good. Now, the little nose ring, little diamond stud, okay, all right. I mean, but I'm still going to think you're a slut. So that's not my problem. But again, it's the nose ring. You look like a fucking bull. If I wave red at you, you might charge me. But anywho, this whole leftist ideology is so fucking annoying, if only because it's based in condescending your opponent. And I swear to God, I blame Jon Stewart for this, because he taught a whole generation of progressives that the only thing you had to do to be smarter than people was to give a sarcastic response. And you see it online. You see it on fucking Reddit. You see it on every comment board. These guys go, oh, so what you're saying is, you think that trans people don't exist? Haha, got you, bitch. Got you. Yes, queen. Yes, queen. These are the worst fucking people in our society. Everybody talks about the great replacement theory. I support it if we are replacing them. I would rather have 100,000 Colombians and Guatemalans and Brazilians and fucking if you just took out all these people and shipped them. I don't give a fuck where. I don't care. Get them out. They need to go. They should not have any say on anything. They are the worst people. Their whole basis of existence is their perceived intelligence over everybody. These are the most insane narcissists that have ever lived. It's honest to God embarrassing. It's embarrassing that we listen to these fuckers. God, I think I'm giving my best Alex Jones impression right now. This is really taking the wind out of me, but it feels good. It feels good to be alive.